Welcome, friends. We're going to be going through all of the proving grounds that I have access to. Unfortunately, I don't have any accounts that I have access to that have the Razor Crest proving grounds open, but we're going to be going through all the other ones. Razor Crest can be done in the same way as the rest of these with SLKR, and so we're just kind of showing off what you can do with your newly gotten SLKR from your Lightspeed bundles. And so there's two different teams you're going to need for this. It's going to be both first order. It's literally just the difference between first order officer or lobster Sith trooper. Either one, just depending on which battle you're in. A lot of them can be interchanged. Some of them cannot be interchanged. So this is what our SLKR is looking like. This is what our crew is looking like. These aren't the best mods by any means. The most important part of this entire thing is the fact that you have your first order officer slightly, you can see I don't even have finished mods over here. You need your first order officer slightly faster than Hux. So we'll take you over the first order officer real quick. This is just what I slapped on him just now. So he's at 265 versus Hux, who's at 260. So not amazing mods, just kind of whatever was sitting around. So you know, we got not even a full second set on SLKR. So we'll just kind of go through each individual one. We're not going to be changing mods between each of them. He can do any of them except for TIE Interceptor and Malgus. Interceptor he can still do. I'll show you the team you can use for it. But last time I did it, it took me 40 tries and immense frustration. So I suggest finding another way to do the TIE Interceptor personally, because no one has that kind of time and it's always a 1-star battle. So Commander Ahsoka Tano, since they patched it, it's really not too bad. You basically just want to get ultimate as fast as you can and just keep working on the people that you're fighting. So you'll just go in and you'll just treat it like a normal battle. So you're going to stun whoever you're aiming at right that moment. And we'll get this in. Looks like we're going to take a turn because our SLKR is a little too fast compared to our first order officer and Hux, which is fine. It's fine. As long as we're getting those extra turns, that's all that I care about. So we'll do some swiper, no swiping. Nice thing is people go under stealth after they go under a certain amount of health. So we'll keep this guy around just a wee bit longer. And just like that, we now have our ultimate. He's at 5 stacks, which means he's going to take 5 turns in a row. And so we're going to want to make sure all of those turns are completely wasted. And so we're going to hop right into our ultimate. And that'll cause him to just basically waste as many of those as we can on SLKR himself. So there's one wasted. He didn't waste another, which isn't too bad because we're only going to take, you know, a little bit of a turn. Just going to keep swiping. We want to keep swiping because at this point, we're not trying to stun people. We're just trying to kill people off as fast as we can. He's going to waste off another couple of these, which is fine. We're still trying to build ultimate charge as much as possible just in case we need to jump into another ultimate. But at this point, we won, as you can tell. So I'm just going to swipe one more time, and voila, you're there. So it's really not hard. I've also done with this one with Lobster. It's really not that hard. Next up, we're going to jump into Maul. Maul is rough. Maul is one of the rougher ones. This is the lineup that I use. It's rough. Honestly, this is the one that a lot of people struggle with. This is one I struggle with. Especially if you don't have really good speeds on your team. Like if you have, I think it's over 570 is the perfect spot for proving grounds for an SLKR. It makes it a lot more difficult to do some of these tiers. Look at that. And we're just basically trying to get as much ultimate charge as I can before things start getting out of control. So I'm just gonna swipe again, and then we'll hit a stun afterwards. Stun him. And then, honestly, Zeb is actually one of the highest damaging characters in this tier. So I'm actually going to stun him. We're still going for as much ultimate as we can. Let's try and just get as much ultimate as we can. Push back some turn meter on you. And then we'll get one more siphon on a stunned enemy. So that way we're getting some solid damage out there and we're siphoning double. We're just going to keep going. We're not going to hit ultimate yet. This is kind of where it gets scary, is you don't want to quite hit ultimate yet. You kind of just want to skate the balance as much as you can of keeping SLKR alive until all of his allies are gone. Luckily, they tend to focus on your allies. And so you can kind of skate by just for a bit. I am going to go into ultimate at this point. We are starting to lose allies and we're almost out. So at this point, we kind of do the same thing, but we got to pay attention. Sure, let's get an assist in there just for fun. So we got to pay attention. This is our first turn in ultimate. So we're going to siphon. Yes, there will be kind of a pause between things happening because for some reason, Chopper gets aggressively more glitchy the longer this battle moves on. Okay, so at this point, yes, we won't hit him with the siphon, but it'll still siphon, and that's what we care about because we want to keep increasing our damage. This is our second turn, so we're going to siphon again. Unfortunately, we don't have great ultimate charge. I probably should have jumped into ultimate a turn earlier. But we just kind of keep going. That's all you really can do. Okay, so at this point, this is the third turn, which means as soon as this turn is over, we are going to be out of ultimate. But if you use this event ability, you gain a bonus turn, and you can hop right back into your ultimate. And so now we have another turn to buy ourselves time, and see if we can't kill off some people. In a perfect world, we'd get second ultimate on that second time, but we did jump in a turn later than I usually do, which was my bad. But, like, you know, we're still hoping that we can get off a couple people, because if we can get a couple people gone, at this point, it's not going to matter. They're not going to be able to deal enough damage to actually fight us. And so you're kind of just balancing that ultimate and making it so that way you can hit that bonus turn on the third turn and make sure you jump right back into ultimate, because then they really can't do anything. You can just keep ramping. And so then if you get there's 3 pieces of the ultimate. If you get the second piece, then you do 1 turn where you siphon, and then the next turn is bonus turn. If you get just 1, then you kind of just have to deal with it like I did and hope for the best. Today it worked out really well. Honestly, I'm just going to stun right here because there's just 2 of them left, which means really shouldn't be much damage. And we'll jump into ultimate, and we'll call it a day. And so that's really the idea behind this one, is just timing that event ability and timing your ultimate to when you're almost out of allies. Because your allies will kind of be your buffer to be able to siphon as much as you can while SLKR is around, as well as his allies. They're just a buffer for you. Next up, this one is a little wonky, honestly. It can take some RNG. If you get yourself over that 570 speed that I said was really good for this stuff, you take first turn, and it becomes much less scary overall. But this is one you want Sith Trooper for. And the reason being is there's an event thing happening that causes you to have building up damage over time that just deal insane damage. And so if you take first turn, and you have some well-sped hucks, you can actually take first turn and second turn, and you can actually stun Bosk and then stun Grief Karga, because he's the buff dispel. And so if you can get rid of their buff dispel, you just watch them die off, basically. And so we're going to see if we can do it with our current mods. We might need some help, and we might need to change some stuff. But the problem is we're not getting ahead of him, and so he's always going to have this taunt on him from here on out. And so it's really problematic for us that we're stuck behind his taunt. If we had gotten first turn, of course we'd hit Grief and just go straight in and be fine. So at this point, honestly, I'm just going to hit that and make sure I'm cleansing my damage over times. Yeah, I'm going to go one more turn and then I'll hit ultimate. Let's get him under stun, actually. So just so that way we can make sure we prevent the taunt. Hit them with an AoE. That'll kill off Bosk. And you see, it's a bit scary, you know? But at this point, you hit ultimate, and we're kind of doing fine. So if you have the right speeds down, where you have over that 570 speed, you can stun Grief Karga, and this is over in seconds. If you don't, it's just a little RNG dependent, but you're basically just trying to survive, hitting that buff, or not buff as well, the cleanse for you guys off of this lobster, so that way you can be able to make sure that you're getting as many damage over times off you guys as you can. Whenever you use this ability, you also remove all those damage over times, and you're kind of just waiting them out to die off, because the damage over times deal so much damage to the team. So at this point, we could do literally whatever we want. We can't be hurt by damage over times. We just have to wait for them to die off to them. So it's super easy. It just has some RNG just because of the fact that if you can't get to Grief Karga, he can end up cleansing too much. And that's kind of the lost condition here, is if Grief Karga is able to cleanse the debuffs too much. So you're just, the faster your SLKR is, the better RNG you're going to have for this battle. So obviously we talked about TIE Interceptor and Malgus being the only two you really can't do. So we're going to skip them for now, and we'll come back and I'll show you what I can do for TIE Interceptor if you want to roll the RNG dice. It's not very good. I will tell you that now. Maybe someone else has a better way of doing it. I still haven't found one. And I also want to keep this as much in your Lightspeed bundles as I can. I'm not going to be suggesting Malik. I'm not going to be suggesting, Wat Tambor. I'm just using the characters that you have from the Lightspeed bundles just to show you what you can do with them. Next up, we're going up against Ben Solo. This one, we're going to bring back our First Order officer again, and we'll just throw it in. And this one, honestly, it's not bad. Overall, it's just kind of a normal Rey battle. He just ends up with SLKR being by himself by the end, but it's doable. So I like to stun Resistance Hero Finn, and then you do get another turn, and you get to swipe from Resistance Hero Finn because you want to siphon from whoever has stun on him, pass the turn back over, and then you're going to stun Ben Solo just to make your life easy. And just because of what's happening in this battle, a lot of these guys will hit damage immunity of their own accord, just because of how the battle works. Basically, as these build up, you'll just take damage randomly when these stacks are building up. And so these guys will actually kind of hit damage immunity very quickly. She's already hit damage immunity, so I don't see why we don't just knock her down, just so that way we can get through Ben as soon as possible. Let's get Ben back into stun just to make sure we don't have to deal with him. Good timing on that. I'm going to hit a siphon on you. Okay, and because we got her down, it killed off Ben. So we're doing good, we're doing solid. At this point, we can take down Rey with no problems. And so I'm going to focus down Rey. She's probably going to kill one of our guys. Oh, nope. She used a different ability. I'm surprised. This is not... Usually she kills off a lot of your guys with Sudden Whirlwind. This is just really good RNG. She's not being smart whatsoever. And so this actually might be a 3-star win, which I've never gotten with this tier. But it looks like it's possible. So do what I did today. But no, honestly, it's just mostly RNG dependent. I am going to hit ultimate here and just kind of call it a day. Usually I save ultimate until, Rey takes away the tanks, but at this point it really doesn't matter. Yeah, so I'm going to get a 3-star here for my buddy's account. Would you look at that? You're welcome. And just like that, we just got a 3-star win. So that's how you do Ben. Ben's pretty easy, honestly. It's just like doing a Rey battle. You just save your ultimate till you're worried that Ray's gonna kill you, basically, and you just go from there. So next up we got Scythe. Scythe can be done by CLS really easily. Obviously, that's what most people use, but you can use SLKR as well. Obviously, if you have your Lightspeed bundles, and that's it, you're not going to have that lying around. But you might have this lying around because this is just the basic team for SLKR. So I'm going to stun Grand Inquisitor just because I hate his abilities, and they are annoying. That's weird that that happened. I'm guessing we got a extra instance of advantage somewhere, and so we took a turn in the wrong order, but that's fine. We'll deal with it. Bad RNG happens, and it's fine. So we'll pass it back to him, and we're just going to start working through these guys. It might get scary, it might not. It just kind of depends on the RNG in this battle, but I've never lost it. Now that I say that, I'm going to laugh when I actually lose. We'll pass it back to SLKR. Let's stay out of ultimate for now. We're fine for now. Let's get a stun out there. Let's siphon from the Grand Inquisitor. You could siphon from whoever's stunned to whoever you have access to. Maybe it's just Night Sister. But he was open, so I was like, why not? He's kind of the win condition with these battles in general. As Grand Inquisitor, if he's not part of the team's pretty garbage. So let's get him under stun again. No sense in letting him take turns. Let's remove some turn meter from her if possible. Some bad dodges, that's fine. Yeah, let's just, you know, at this point, why not just hit ultimate, right? I don't care. Like, there isn't a trick to this one. It's just, like, kind of playing the battle normally. That's how a lot of these are, is just as long as you know how SLKR's kit works, to some degree, you're not really going to struggle to do these battles. So our Grand Inquisitor is gone. He never took a turn. At this point, we're doing good. I'm just going to keep siphoning just for fun. Get everyone a little ways down. We already have a second ultimate, so we're going to be able to jump right back into ultimate afterwards. So, like, I'm not even worried. We might even 3-star this, even with, like, the poor RNG at the beginning and the dodges. And there's her down. I probably should have siphoned someone else, but it's fine. We don't need to play perfectly for this to work. You can see here, this is what happens. You can see his health is going down. This is what happens when Hux and First Order officers spend too much time on this team overall, is they'll slowly kill themselves off. And that's just because whenever they gain turn meter, they lose max health and max protection. And so there's a reason that you usually put SLKR with other people who don't gain turn meter when you're on offense, if you are, you know, if you have the perfect stuff for SLKR. The reason we're stunning these two guys is because they have AoE and I want to try and get a 3-star. And so by stunning them instead of going into ultimate, it's allowed me to basically keep Hux around and kind of focus people down and maybe get that 3-star out of here. And would you like that? We just got a 3-star. And there you go. Now you can just sim this one from here on out. We got right here an Admiral Stench. Admiral Stench is also fairly easy. You know, this one is a little scary, honestly. I don't think I've ever 3-starred this one with this team. I think it might be possible, but I usually just out the gate stun Count Dooku because he's kind of a really annoying character on this. That was an unfortunate stun, but it's fine. We'll deal with what we got, you know? Let's stun Trench. The one thing I'm worried about is this guy right here. He's going to take a turn and he's going to kill one of our... Ooh, it looks like he might not have it. Yeah, he doesn't have it ready. He already used it. And so he's not going to insta-kill one of our allies. We're going to siphon from Count Dooku since he's kind of like the win condition for this team. He's the guy that does a ton of damage. Let's get a stun on this guy just to keep him off of us because he's annoying. We'll finish off Count Dooku. And there goes one guy. Unfortunately, you know, there's not much you can do about Jango Fett at first. And it's fine, you know, we'll lose people. We may not lose people. Looks like we didn't get the kill off with Kylo Ren, otherwise he would have been permanent dead. But it's fine. Yeah, so as you can see, this gets kind of scary. And like it'll be like that. We may lose this one, we may win this one, but with a full ultimate charge, we shouldn't have many problems. Because at this point, it's just, we kind of sit here and just siphon. It's kind of the whole shtick with him, is you can just keep siphoning and have zero problems. Of course, if you have a whole bunch of inopportune dodges, it can be really annoying. Because then you can't gain ultimate charge if they're dodging. There we go, that's what I like to see. Gosh, these guys gain so many turns in a row. Yeah, so right there, it's a loss, which is fine. We'll just go back in, kind of do it again. It happens. A lot of these are RNG fests where you might have to do it once or twice. The only ones that are really, really frustrating with SLKR is the TIE Advanced. Or TIE Interceptor, sorry. I always get those two words mixed up, but I don't know why. The TIE Interceptor is just such an RNG fest, you'll sit there forever trying to get it right. Okay, already starting with really good RNG where he didn't hit First Order Officer, because that was an awful start last game. And we got him under stun. We already have some ramp going. Honestly, we're going to try stunning Jango this time. Just because he doesn't have his ability ready, so we should be fine from him for now. Let's siphon from Dooku again. We're going to try and finish off Dooku. No such luck, which it's fine. Let's try and hit him a bit. Unfortunate ability block, but hey, we got Trench out. Without Trench, this team starts to suffer. They can't revive anymore because Kylo Ren's the one that killed him. We're going to hit this, get rid of all of their stealth, all of their buffs, make sure that we don't have to worry about them as much. We'll siphon from Count Dooku again, reduce his damage stats. Give you a turn again, and we'll stun Count Dooku just to kind of keep us alive, keep us from having to deal with stealth. We might lose another guy just because of the droid. You can, stun the droid and focus down the droid if you want to. This ability, if he has 5 stacks, will instantly defeat an enemy, which is what happened to our Stormtrooper. Honestly, let's try it. Let's go for him. Voila. We're not going to have one instantly defeated. Which, I mean, even then, we'd still win at this point. This is, good RNG. We haven't had any problems. We'll hit ultimate, and it'll just kind of be over with. So, we'll just pass it to you, because if we kill him with Kylo Ren, no revive. And just like that, I mean, it was a 2-star, not quite a 3-star. I'm guessing if you played this one really well, you could get a 3-star, but I haven't really taken the time to figure it out because I don't mind playing through Proving Grounds personally. So there you go. There's Ben Solo, Scythe, Trench, Scion of Jango, Maul, Cat. You can do all of them with SLKR. You can't necessarily 3-star them every time, but you can at least do them. And that means you'll start getting Cat, you'll start getting Maul, you'll start getting Boba. I mean, who cares about Boba? I wish he was a good character. I wish Boba Fett was great, but it wasn't. TIE Interceptor, I'll just show you the team really quick and show you one quick run through. This is what you use, and it's basically kind of like the Boba Scion of Jango one, where you're trying to survive as much as possible. And as you can see, these guys absolutely destroy this team so much, and that's the problem. Is basically you have to wait for one where they don't kill your team. You need to wait for the perfect one where you don't get an ability block, you have at least a couple allies surviving. Otherwise, this happens. And so really good mods, really good speed mods, and just, you know, some really good RNG is what you need. I've only done it twice, and that took me like 40 tries each time that I did it. And so it's not something I suggest. I would suggest going and looking at other things to get this one done. You can see how badly that turned out. I'll show you what it looks like for Malgus as well. There's not really much you can do in these battles to make them so they're not RNG fests with SLKR. Like, I use Scythe Eternal personally for these two. I've almost pulled this one off multiple times, but I've never actually been able to pull it off. So maybe you guys will be able to, but I've never been able to. And unfortunately, that's Malgus getting Deathmark. If you can get Deathmark on other people, it makes it a lot easier to get through this in general. But yeah, you can see just how much damage and how much fear they're putting out. You really can't do much. And Deathmark does nothing to Malgus because it can't actually hurt him. So you kind of just get stomped in this. They all do way too much damage. You get way too much fear. There's a chance at doing it, but I wouldn't hold out hope. It's a rough battle. If someone finds a way to do TIE Interceptor and Darth Malgus, please hit me up. I'd love to hear it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I am saying, as far as I know in the testing that I've done, I haven't found a way to do it. Especially do it like, yeah, I can do this every time. Also, another little trick in Proving Grounds that you can pull off, I don't know if this account has it, but a lot of you will if you have... let me think. If you have Executor, you'll have it. So you want to replace tanks with him and... where is he? Does he not have him leveled? Yeah, so it looks like he hasn't finished him. How dare he? Yeah, so he should have a Beskar Mandalorian here. But if you throw Beskar Mandalorian with his unique Zeta and Bosk in here, you can basically, in the TIE Advanced as well as in the Malgus one, you could use it to kind of cheese it a bit, because basically they knock one of them to less than 90% health, and then bam, gives them both damage immunity, and then they sit there and soak up hits. You can perpetually have them Bosk taunt and be removing turn meter in TIE Advanced, and so it might be a way to get SLKR to work for TIE Advanced. I haven't had success with it in the last couple of tries I did it just for fun, but maybe you'll find a way to do it. So I do want to put it on your guys' radar. It's best if you can put as little speed on Bosk as possible to get him to taunt for as long as he can, because it's not like they can remove the taunt or anything, because SLKR forces taunt every time he gives advantage, and he gives advantage every time he siphons. So, but yeah. That is your Proving Grounds. Hopefully that helps you guys, and if I recall correctly, Razor Crest is just the same kind of thing of, as long as you know how to use this team and you have that first order officer dialed in, you'll have zero problems getting through it. And so you'll be able to get some of these characters that are kind of gate kept for higher level characters, you know, as soon as you can, instead of being like, dang, I can only get one. SLKR will get you most of them, which is great. And it's a big reason why I suggest SLKR to Scythe Eternal for a lot of you. I know a lot of you are waiting to see if there's going to be a Lightspeed bundle, but SLKR into Scythe Eternal allows you to do all of Proving Grounds, which is super nice. Plus, they share requirements with Executor and each other. So... hopefully this helps you guys kind of get a grasp on this, kind of get to the point where you might get a couple 3 stars like I did today. And either way, I mean, these characters will help you attack first and assert dominance. If you like these kinds of videos, please subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there's other ways you found with these characters and the Lightspeed bundles to be able to get these done. I'd love to hear about them, and I will see you guys in the next video.